Hello, this is Poor for Trump. POORFORTRUMP at gmail.com. Send us an email and get an auto reply and read it, especially the very last paragraphs where we talk to other poor persons. We are poor persons talking to other poor persons about how they can participate in democracy day by day, week by week, and how we, the poor people of this country, are going to help those who are not poor by bringing reason and wisdom and godly love into our government, into our church. We're not going to let people use politics or religion to make money off of us, or to use the idea that they're pretending to help us, that they should have power. Yeah, you know, the Democrats act like they're for the poor and for the poor blacks and for the blacks, but they're not. They never ever ran a poor black person for office anywhere in the United States, not for any public office. If you know of one, please let us know. If you do know of one, I know you don't know of 6. They run rich people for office, and they run people who are trying, the Democrats do, run people who are trying to make a living out of politics. They run for office, and then they stay in there forever getting paid for like Schumer. All he's done all his life is work for the government. He's never had a real job, and he's never had to make a job for another person or help anyone, except that he uses the government to take money from you, from anyone, everyone, and pretend he's giving it to the poor, but the poor don't benefit from that money. Rich people benefit, friends of his, people who believe in what he believes in, who are middle class and upper middle class. That's who benefits from it. Has a whole bunch of people working for the government getting paid to keep people poor, to make sure the poor are poor and that they never get out of poverty. While the Republicans are trying to get poor persons out of poverty by motivating them to go out and do things that are successful and effective and change their life and change the world, improve the world. Make jobs for other people. The best way to to be rich is to make jobs for other persons. And so now, you don't agree with us? Well, that's okay. We love you because the love that we're trying to have isn't our own human love, but we hope that it's the love of God that comes through Jesus Christ to us and to you, and we hope that we can be a vessel of that love to you, while you are a vessel of that love to us. God's love, not human love. And it's certainly unkind and unloving to kill an infant, a fetus. That's not godly, that's ungodly. And it's wrong to want to get high. Getting high is evil. In fact, in the Old Testament, in the Bible, people used to get high, go to high places, and they used to sacrifice their babies, burn them to death, to worship Satan or Moloch or other false gods. And when you have an abortion, basically you chemically burn the fetus. You put saline solution in there and you burn it to death. And that's not kind. It's not loving, it's not caring, and to couch that whole idea and the idea of woman's right to her own body is just that the people who are thinking that have been worshiping Satan. They still worship Satan. They don't know right from wrong or good from bad. They have their idea what's good and what's bad, and they want to impose it on others. And little by little, they're gradually doing that. But I don't want to impose my idea of what's right and wrong on you. I just want there to be free, open debate and discussion. And God doesn't force anyone who wants to go to heaven to go there. If you want to go to heaven, you have to ask God, dear God, teach me your truth and show me your truth. And God will show it to you. If there is a God and you do that, that God will show you truth. And if you pursue it diligently, some of the things you will think are truth at the beginning, later on you may not think they're the truth. You may have some adjustments. But that'll be because God is teaching you and you're learning from God. What's true is anyone who's learning from God learns from God through God's love, not through God's hate or any kind of hatred, and not through the kind of love that's human and it thinks it's from God, but love that's from God, that is from God. So now, you see, the Democratic Party runs the state of New York and the state of Illinois, the city of New York, the city of Chicago. Now, how does it happen to be that in those states, about 50% of the people in the prisons, the state prisons, are black? How could that possibly be in a liberal, black states that care about black people and poor people, and yet they function in such a way? Now, Chicago and New York, you got all Democratic judges, Democratic prosecutors, Democratic public defenders, and they target poor black men, boys, and they set them up so that they can arrest them once they're over 18 and put them in jail. That's what they do. They've been doing it for over 100 years. And some black people they don't realize that. They still won't get it. And others are getting it. Now the Democrats are wanting to be in New York, the Speaker of the Council, talking about how in 10 years they'll straighten out Rikers Island. Well, these are just people in 10 years. These city council people, they'll have gone on to some other office, making money off of being a politician, making money off of telling you how they're going to fix things. If you give them enough of your money, they'll fix everything. But they haven't fixed anything. They can't fix anything because they're not interested in fixing anything. All they're interested in doing is getting your vote. And tomorrow, if nobody in New York was willing to vote for people who would fix Rikers Island, they would soon change their song and they would have another song. Now, Jesus wants us not to be proud. He doesn't want us to be proud, and that's a problem that Donald Trump has. Because like most politicians, and he's not really a politician, but like most Americans, he thinks there's something good about pride. Pride and prejudice are both the same thing, and they're both evil. They're just two names for the same thing. Prejudice means you think somebody else isn't good as you are. Maybe they're black and you're white, so you think they're not as good. Or maybe you're black and someone's white, and you think, oh, they're not as good as me. That's prejudice, see? Prejudgment, deciding somebody based on something. You don't really know them, but you have an idea about them. And pride is the same thing, it's the other way around. Oh, I'm better than you are. I'm smarter than you are. I'm a faster racer than you are. I know how to win and you don't. So now I'm going to be proud. But the Bible talks about pride, and it says, after pride comes destruction. And it also says that God gives grace, that God resists the proud, but God gives grace to the humble. Now, if you want to go to heaven, the only way to get to heaven is to have the grace of God, to receive the grace of God. In fact, the only way to get through this world without going crazy is to receive the grace of God, because we all do things wrong. We all do. But the solution to doing things wrong isn't changing the law and saying it's okay to do things that are wrong. The solution is to say, hey, we know what's right and we know what's wrong, and we're going to do what's right. We're going to do it. But when we can't do what's right, because sometimes we're frail, we're sinful, we know that Jesus died on the cross so that we could be forgiven. In order to follow that, instead of not doing what's wrong because we're ashamed or we think God hates us, we receive this love, this agape love, this unconditional love. And we are forgiven. Jesus said, dying on the cross, he said, Father, forgive them. They don't know what they're doing. And Jesus was God. Everything that was created was created by God through Jesus. Jesus wasn't created. God wasn't created. The Bible was never created. The Bible is a book that tells us who Jesus is. If you understand that and you read the Bible, you'll understand it. If you don't understand that, you'll never get the Bible clear. But thank you, Jesus. Thank you, God, for loving us and showing us the truth. Now, we're having a hard time so far getting people to listen to or see our videos. And that we should expect that, but we're going to keep trying. We need you to join us. We don't need your money, but we do need your participation. And we do have a church. We've established a church. The name of the church is YAWS Church, and it has a much longer name. It's YAWS, and advance the poor economies, improve the world, use grace, hope, and love, and charity. And I'll tell you about our church. Right now I'm in the hospital and the nursing home trying to get better. And we don't do this very often because we're poor. But if we have church, we don't collect money from the people. No, we give money to the people who are listening to us or participating in our church. And we don't ask them for a tithe because that's not from God. What we ask people to do is to save their money, as much of it as they possibly can, because that's what the Bible teaches us to do. If you understand the Bible, it teaches us to save money when things are going great and have it stored. And then when things aren't going so great, we'll have something to fall back on. Because the devil is the God of this world, and he knows how to destroy, and he's always destroying. And God, what's from God in this earth is what's left over from when God created it. Sometimes God revives it a little. But the devil's the one that's in charge of this world, because you go around cursing Jesus' name, and you break all the 10 Commandments, and you break all the other laws. I do, you do, we all do. And then we think, oh, we'll go to heaven. But if you won't go to heaven because you lied, and you can't go to heaven if you're a liar. No liar will go to heaven unless they come to realize they're a liar, admit it, and ask God to forgive them and to save them through Jesus. Then Jesus was not a liar. He never lied. He told the truth. And if you believe that, then you exchange his punishment for your punishment. But look, send us an email, contact us at poor4trump@gmail.com and join us. And if you're poor and you join us, we're going to show you how to get out of poverty. We're going to show you how to use your poverty for your own benefit. Thank you and goodbye.